أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم.
Lesson number 73, Surah Al-Maidah.
وَتَرَى كَثِيرًا مِّنْهُمْ, and you will see many among them. You will see many among them, meaning the majority of who? Of the Bani Israel. Not all of them, but the majority of them. You will find them يُسَارِعُونَ فِي الْإِثْمِ, hastening, running, rushing into sin. يُسَارِعُونَ, what does it mean? That a person is running towards something, hastening, he's rushing towards something. So يُسَارِعُونَ, what are they rushing into? Into ism. What does it mean by that? Ism refers to those sins that are committed against Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. وَالْعُدْوَانِ, and udwan refers to those sins that are committed against people. So you can say that ism is in the haqq of Allah, and udwan is in the haqq of the khalq of Allah, the creation of Allah. So you will find many of them rushing into sin and transgression, neglecting in the haqq of Allah as well as the haqq of people. And you will also see many of them rushing into وَأَكْلِهِمُ السُّحْتَ, eating, devouring, consuming that which is unlawful. The word as-suht is from the root letter sin hata. We have done this word earlier as well. And sahata, as you know, means to peel, right? To take the peel off of something. And when the peel is taken off fully, what does it mean? That nothing of it is left on the object from which you're taking the peel off. It's completely taken off, fully. Okay? Like for example, if you're peeling an orange, then what does it mean? That you're fully taking it off. If you leave even a little bit, you haven't really peeled it off. And suht is used for unlawful wealth. Basically, any earning that is muharram, that is unlawful. So anything that a person earns through unlawful means, whether it is through theft, or it is through riba, or it is through bribe, any way that is unlawful. And why is it called suht? Because first of all, there is no barakah in such wealth. There is no barakah in such wealth. Just like the peel is taken off fully, similarly there is no barakah. Barakah is completely taken out of this wealth. Secondly, it is also called suht because it destroys the wealth that a person has from before. When you put haram into tayyib, when you put something that is unclean into something that is clean, is it not going to corrupt the entire thing that you have? Isn't it? Like for example, if you have a pot of fresh food that you just cooked, nice soup, very healthy, and you put just 1 teaspoon of chlorine in it, 1 teaspoon of some washing liquid into it, is it going to destroy the whole thing? It is. There was somebody I know, they were cooking some food. They made a huge pot, and at the end they added some butter to it, and they didn't check the ingredients, and it had lard in it. Now the whole food was cooked, and at the end they put something that was haram. Now what do? You can't even take it out. So the whole thing that you have from before, even though it was halal and tayyib from before, it's ruined, it's gone, it's finished. It destroys it completely. So haram earning, first of all, there's no barakah in it. Secondly, the wealth that you have from before, it ruins it, it destroys it. And you know how sometimes in the bank when you have deposited your money, you earn some interest on it? If you continue to earn that interest, even if it is a little bit, a few cents every month, what is it going to do? First of all, there's going to be no barakah in those few cents. Secondly, it's going to destroy the wealth that you have already, that you have earned through halal means. This is what suht is. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says over here that you will see many of them rushing into eating suht, into devouring that which is unlawful. And notice aklihim. Akl is a noun. And a person is described with a noun when he is known for doing that action repeatedly. Aklihim as-suht. Like this is their habit. This is what they do. This is what they're known for. لَبِئْسَ, surely how evil مَا كَانُوا يَعْمَلُونَ is that which they do. What is it that they're doing? What 3 crimes are mentioned over here? يُسَارِعُونَ فِي الْإِثْمِ, secondly, وَالْعُدْوَانِ, and thirdly, أَكْلِهِمُ السُّحْتِ. Allah describes these actions as very evil. لَوْلَا, why not? How come? يَنْهَاهُمُ الرَّبَّانِيُّونَ. How come their rabbis, their Rabbaniyun, don't stop them? Yanha from the root letters, nun ha ya. Nahi. And what does nahi mean? To stop. Yanhawna anil munkar. And the word Rabbani, as you know, it refers to who? Just a scholar? No. Which scholar? Spiritual leader, meaning one who trains. One who does tarbiyah. The murabbi. Whether he is an alim or not. Rabbani is basically a murabbi. Someone who trains the other. Someone who teaches the other person the manners or the etiquettes. Whether or not he is highly qualified. Because it's possible that there is a person who is very knowledgeable. And with that knowledge he is doing tarbiyah. But at the same time it's possible that there is another person who is not that knowledgeable. Who is not known for his ilm. Who is not really a scholar. But his words are so effective. His words are so effective. So there are two types of people who do tarbiyah. One is the scholar, and the other is the one who is not a scholar. Remember that. For example, a mother. She is required to do tarbiyah of her children. Now, doesn't mean that every mother has to be a scholar. No. But she knows the basics, and through those basics, what does she do? She teaches her child. She does tarbiyah of her child. So Rabbani refers to the murabbi, whether an alim or not. But basically, what's the job? What's the responsibility of this person? That he has to do tarbiyah of people. So, لَوْلَا يَنْهَاهُمُ الرَّبَّانِيُّونَ وَالْأَحْبَارِ. And who are the ahbar? Al-ulama. Ahbar refers to in particular the scholars. So how come their Rabbaniyun and their ahbar, their scholars, they don't stop them from what? عَنْ قَوْلِهِمُ الْإِثْمِ. From their ism speech. From their sinful speech. How come they don't stop the people from sinful speech? What's the job of a Rabbani? That he's supposed to do tarbiyah. If he's not doing tarbiyah by stopping the people from saying that which is sinful, is he doing his job? No. The ahbar, the scholar, the hibr, if he has learned so much knowledge, what use is that knowledge if he's not teaching people about what to do and what not to do? So how come their rabbis and their priests, they don't stop them from qawlihimul ism? Now the question is, what is sinful speech? Sinful speech, qawlihimul ism, refers to, first of all, lies against Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Lies against Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Like, for example, saying statements such as, Allah has a son. Like the Yahud said, Uzayrun ibn Allah. The Nasara said, Isa ibn Allah. Similarly, lies against sinful speech includes fabricating things in their religion. Innovating things in their religion. This is what? Sinful. It's sinful speech. Or it includes denying a messenger. Opposing a messenger through words. They opposed Isa a.s., they opposed Yahya a.s. When the Prophet ﷺ came, they also denied him. They also rejected his messengership. And then, qawlihimul ism, in the general sense, refers to, it applies to foul speech, bad speech, mocking at other people, saying negative things about other people, spreading false propaganda. All of this is what? Sinful speech. So any word that a person utters for which he is going to earn a sin, what is that? Qawlul ism. Whether it is a lie against Allah, or it is a lie against people, whether it is words of kufr, or it is words of mockery, any kind of speech. They said statements about Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala such as, Yadullahi maghlula. Allah's hands are tied up. Or, Inna Allah faqirun. Now, even if they were mocking at the Muslims, did they not believe in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? Didn't they believe in Allah? Of course they did. So, it did not suit them to mock at Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in their hatred for the Muslims. So how come their rabbis and their priests are not stopping them from such a thing, from saying such words? وَأَكْلِهِمُ السُّحْتِ, and they're devouring that which is unlawful. How come they're not doing their job? لَبِئْسَ مَا كَانُوا يَصْنَعُونَ, how evil is it, that which they're earning. يَصْنَعُونَ is from Sad, Noon, Ain. And Sana'a is to perform, is to do something skillfully. Basically, Sun is used for craft. And when a person has a skill, meaning when he skillfully does something, when he skillfully makes something, does an action, that is what? His craft. So لَبِئْسَ مَا كَانُوا يَصْنَعُونَ, how evil is it that they have been doing so skillfully. Now we see over here that their rabbis and their priests, the Rabbaniyun and the Ahbab, they would not stop the people from wrong things. Why? In order to maintain their religious leadership. This is why. And also because they themselves were doing the same actions. They themselves were busy in aklihimus suht, in saying sinful speech. So how could they stop their people from doing this wrong thing? So what were the two reasons? First of all, they would not stop them in order to maintain their leadership. Because if they stopped them, then the people would leave them. People would not listen to them. People would not like them. So because of this fear, they would not do nahi anil munkar. And sometimes this happens with us as well. That we clearly see somebody do something wrong. We know that what they're doing is wrong. We have the ability to stop them. Or we can at least tell them that what you're doing is incorrect. But out of this fear that if I tell them, they will not be my friend anymore. They will not like me anymore. They will not come to me anymore. Because of this fear, we do not stop the wrong. This is the problem that the scholars of the Bani Israel were suffering from as well. And secondly, because they themselves were doing those wrong things. Obviously, if you're doing something wrong yourself, basically you've made it halal. So if you tell the other person, don't do it, they're going to say, then why do you do it? So this is the reason why they wouldn't stop them. What do we learn from these two ayat? First of all, we learn about the traits that are mentioned in these two ayat. And which ones are they? That يُسَارِعُونَ فِي الْإِثْمِ وَالْعُدْوَانِ أَكْلِهِمُ السُّحْتِ, and then in the next ayah, قَوْلِهِمُ الْإِثْمِ, sinful speech. So these characteristics are mentioned over here, and there is warning for us against all of these characteristics, because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, لَبِئْسَ مَا كَانُوا يَصْنَعُونَ. This is an evil thing that they're doing. What? Saying words that are sinful. Rushing into sin. Rushing into transgression. Rushing into eating that which is haram. There's warning against these actions. And there is also prohibition of indulging in these actions. Secondly, we learn from these two ayat that the responsibility of the scholar, the responsibility of the trainer, of the one who is in charge, his responsibility is not that he should just gain knowledge himself, or that he should show his credentials, or that he should just practice the deen himself, or he should write books and that's it. No. What's the responsibility of the one who is learned? Of the one who is made the in charge to train other people? What's his responsibility? That he should admonish people. That is his responsibility. Why? Because if he just focuses on his own learning. Why? Because I have to have credentials, I have to have this degree and that degree, because if I don't have this degree, then people are not going to listen to me. Or that a person is just busy implementing the deen himself and he's not telling other people. Then what good is that knowledge? Because he's not benefiting other people through that knowledge. So the responsibility of the scholar is what? Then he must advise other people. He must tell them about that which is right and about that which is wrong. We all know about that nation upon whom the punishment was going to be sent. But the angels, they said that there is a worshipper in that particular nation, that particular people. What was said? That let the punishment begin from there. Why? Because he knew and he did not stop other people. He did not tell other people. He only kept the good to himself. The responsibility of the learned is not to keep the knowledge with himself only. But what is his responsibility? That whatever he knows, he must tell other people about it. The Prophet ﷺ was commanded, بَلِّغْ مَا أُنزِلَ إِلَيْكَ مِنْ رَبِّكَ. Convey all of that which has been revealed to you. Every single thing. The Prophet ﷺ said, there is no one who resides among people committing evil among them, and they do not stop him, though they are able to do so, but Allah will punish them all before they die. I will repeat. There is no one who resides among people committing evil among them. So there is a person who is committing evil amongst others, and his evil is being witnessed by other people. And they do not stop him, though they are able to do so. But Allah will punish them all before they die. Before they die, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will punish them. So it's the responsibility of the knowledgeable, of the learned, to stop other people from wrong that they're doing. Ibn Abbas radhiyallahu anhu said, there is no ayah in the Quran that has more severe admonition than this ayah. Why? Because the ulama are being reprimanded. The learned are being reprimanded. That what's your job? How come you did not stop them? Because if you see in the previous ayat, what was mentioned? The punishment that these people were inflicted with. Why did it get to such a serious stage? Why? That they were punished in such a severe way. It's because their Rabbaniyun and Ahbar did not stop the people from the wrong that they were doing. Why? Because they were busy themselves. Another lesson that we learn from this ayah is that the fear of losing worldly and religious prestige and fame should not stop a person from doing his job. Just the fear that if I say, if I do this, if I stop them, then what's going to happen? They're not going to listen to me. I'm not going to be liked anymore. People are going to think I'm very extremist. This fear should not stop a person from doing that which he is responsible to do. And sometimes we see people making obvious mistakes. And sometimes they don't even realize. The other person doesn't realize about what he's doing. He doesn't even know if what he's doing is wrong. Because he doesn't have knowledge. You have knowledge, and in your heart you're just thinking bad about the other person. You're holding a grudge against them. What good is that knowledge if you're not going to help the other person with that knowledge? So when you see someone doing something wrong, don't just think in your heart, oh, they're so evil. They're so ignorant. What is your responsibility? Tell them. Correct them. And obviously you will be wise in the way that you approach them. Ali ibn Abi Talib said, know that enjoining righteousness and forbidding evil does not reduce the provision or shorten the term of life. Know that enjoining righteousness and forbidding evil, it does not reduce rizq and it does not shorten your life. Why did he mention these two things? That's what we're afraid of. That if they don't come to us because we have upset them, then where will we get our money from? And secondly, if it goes to such an extreme that they physically harm you, that they literally kill you, Ali ibn Abi Talib said that know that it's not going to reduce your life. Whatever is written for you, that's what's going to happen. If you notice, Rabbani, his job is to train people. And Ahbar, Hibr, is someone who has specialized in knowledge, in a special field of knowledge. What's the objective of specializing in a particular field? What's the purpose? Like, for example, if a person specializes in a particular field of medicine, what's the purpose? Okay, so that you know everything about that field. What else? To practice particularly in that field. Like, for example, if there's a doctor and he specializes in a particular field, what's the objective? Just so that he can show, oh, I have this specialization, and that's it? No. He has taken that specialization so that he can practice in that field in particular. So what good is that specialization in the religion if you're not going to tell people about what is wrong? about something as basic as sinful speech. I mean, this is something that everyone knows. Specialization is also to deal with or to treat the advanced level of a particular ailment, a particular issue, a particular problem, so that you know how to deal with it in that complicated situation even. How to practice it, how to implement it in that complicated situation. But if you look at it, qawlihimul ism, qawlul ism is not that complicated. You don't need specialization for that. But if despite specialization a person is not stopping the other from qawlul ism, then what good is his knowledge? Is it going to be hujjatun lahu or hujjatun alayhi? It's going to be against him. If you see somebody who's mocking the adhan, mocking the salah, mocking the sha'ir of the deen, first of all, when they're making fun, are we supposed to stay there and listen to them? No. We are supposed to show our disapproval. Show to them that you don't like what they're saying. So first of all, whenever they're saying something like that, tell them, I don't want to hear it. Please. I don't want to listen to it. Like, for example, there are many jokes that are passed around about God, about religion. And sometimes maybe it has to do with Christians, but their God is our God as well. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is our God as well. So if they're making fun of their God, they're actually making fun of our God. So we cannot support such people who are indulging in something like this. So first of all, we cannot support them. We have to show our disapproval. And secondly, talk to them about this. Tell them, because it's possible they don't realize. Tell them about the importance of the adhan, about the reward of giving the adhan, of listening to the adhan, responding to the adhan. So many times people do this out of ignorance. Okay, which is why the scholars are being reprimanded that how come you're not stopping them? If they're ignorant, they don't know. This is why they're doing the wrong that they're doing. But you know better, then how come you're not stopping them? So if we know somebody who's doing something like this, our responsibility is to stop them. Any questions?
Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum assalam.
I just wanted to share like a story. Kamal al-Makki, I was watching him one time and he was talking about brownie surprise. And basically,
Yes, Jazakallah.
it's so funny because how a little bit of bad and
It
the whole
pollutes
thing is
everything. If you haven't watched it, you should watch it. It's a very important lesson that we all need to know about. That a little bit of bad corrupts the whole good that you have. That if you, basically he made brownies and he showed that if I add a little bit of dog poop in it, you're not even going to touch it. You're not going to want to eat it. And there are many things that we're doing and we say, oh, they're very good, but there's still a little bit of bad. And that little bit of bad is enough to destroy or corrupt the whole thing that you have. And this is what suht does. It corrupts the good, clean money that you have. Even if the haram is just a few cents. It's just a few pennies. That's it. It's ruined your wealth. Destroyed your wealth.
I was just saying that the Rabbani, it's not actually like a teacher or a GI in this case, in our situation. It could even be students for other classmates. Meaning if you have a certain knowledge which another classmate doesn't, then it's your responsibility to tell them. And also advise them nicely. Because then you have that responsibility over your head. And you have to do it. Otherwise you will be held accountable.
Because many times we think that, oh, it's the responsibility of the scholars and the learned and the people who are up there to stop the wrong. That's what we think. However, Rabbani is someone who is in a position of doing tarbiyah, of training the other, of correcting the other. And it could be anyone. It could be a friend. It could be somebody whom you're working with. It could be someone who is not even your teacher. Like, for example, at the institute, there are many people over here who are working. So if somebody tells you about something like, no, you're not from my course, so therefore don't tell me. No. That should not be our attitude.